Hello everyone, Stan Dane here. We currently have Lee Oswald sitting in a chair in the second floor lunchroom of the Texas School Book Depository. In this video, we'll see how the process of first to second evolution gets him up out of that chair and onto his feet. So in the first week following the assassination, we have Oswald in the second floor lunchroom, also called the snack bar, sitting at one of the tables. And recall that even the Secret Service in their reenactment of Oswald's supposed movements shows him walking over and sitting down at a table in the lunchroom. That was the prevailing thinking. But evolution is a process, and more evolution was needed to try to work out a large number of kinks. One such kink, a big one, was this. If the translation of the front stairway to lunchroom story to the rear stairway to lunchroom story was to be completed successfully, the officer, Baker, needed a good reason for interrupting his flight upstairs to the roof and going out of his way over to the passageway to the door to the lunchroom and checking out what's in the lunchroom. From the Evening Star, dated November 29, 1963. Mr. Truly said a young policeman dashed up to him and shouted, "Where's the stairway?" "I'll show you," Mr. Truly said, and he led the policeman up to the second floor. Gun in hand, the policeman began checking offices and rooms and ran squarely into Oswald in the employees' lunchroom. Mr. Truly said the policeman held his gun on Oswald as the youth leaned against the counter and said, "Does this man work here?" "I told him yes," Mr. Truly said. He added that he did not know who the officer was and has not seen him since. As we discussed in the last video, one gets the impression that Truly and Baker passed by a number of rooms, including the lunchroom, as they made their way across the second floor on their way to the rear stairs. But what we want to focus on here is the counter detail. Note that Truly is the obvious and sole source of this information. How does the reporter know that there is indeed a counter in the lunchroom? Because Truly has told him so. Truly has given the reporter a clear picture of Oswald leaning against the counter just inside the door. Understand this. Truly cannot possibly be inferring this image from having himself come on the scene just seconds after this, when Oswald is, as per his and Baker's Warren Commission testimony that we'll get to in a later video, when Oswald is at the door with Baker holding his revolver up to him, nor can he have learned it from the officer whom, quote, he has not seen since, unquote. No, just like the Oswald sitting at one of the tables image, now in the process of being discarded, this image of Oswald leaning against a counter is an invention that Truly is giving or has been directed to give. But why has Oswald been brought to his feet? The answer comes in two parts. The first being timeline. It has become increasingly apparent that Oswald, quote, the sixth-floor assassin, unquote, needs to be made to appear as though he has only just arrived in the lunchroom. Sitting down at a table just doesn't cut it. Recall the 90-second drill we did in SD4, the Warren Commission story video. Not a lot of time. The second part is motivation. Baker needs a reason to check out the lunchroom in the first place. By early December, this becomes that much clearer as Oswald is moved from the counter over to the Coke machine. Again, bear in mind that Truly, as he will later tell the Warren Commission, is not supposed to have had any contact with Baker since they parted ways on November 22nd. Yet he is guessing with uncanny accuracy what Baker will testify to months later as to the location of Oswald in the lunchroom when he caught his first sighting of him in there. From the Sunday Bulletin of Philadelphia, dated December 1st, 1963. Truly and the officer raced up the steps. The patrolman went into a second-floor hallway where there is an 18 by 20-foot lunchroom for employees. It has chairs, tables, and vending machines. Oswald was standing near a Coke machine. "Do you work here?" the patrolman shouted at Oswald, thrusting his gun toward him. And this from the Washington Post dated December 1st, 1963. He, truly, was quickly joined by a policeman and they ran up the steps together, the officer with gun drawn. The two men scrambled up the stairs to the second floor. As they made their way to a back stairway, the policeman saw Oswald standing beside a soft drink machine, sipping from a Coke bottle. Why do you think Oswald is now being put over by the Coke machine? The answer? In order to push the explanation that Baker took his significant detour over to the lunchroom because of a noise he heard. The noise of a Coke machine delivering its product. That's why. Okay, now we've gotten to the point where Lee Oswald is standing by the Coke machine in the second floor lunchroom sipping a Coke. In the next video, we'll see how there was some early hedging with the Oswald 6th floor to 2nd floor timeline as that evolved. Until then, this is Stan Dane, and as always, keep on rocking.